Okay. Okay. Now we're joined by midfielder Bryce Duke. If you have a question, raise your hand.
Hey, Bryce, first of all, congratulations. You're here. You're in New York. You're in the playoffs. Can you just talk about the team mentality? There was so much emotion in the week of Gonzalo retiring, and then you guys clinching that Orlando game was just so emotional. A lot of energy was spent. Then the last game was kind of a letdown. What is the team mentality now? Sometimes there's a danger when a team's goal is make the playoffs, then you make the playoffs. Now what? How do you think the team is feeling right now? What's the mood and vibe that you're getting in the locker room?
Yeah, for the team to be able to achieve kind of its first run in playoffs is a tremendous step forward for the club. So I think everyone's excited. Everyone's stoked to be here. And then just in training, kind of just focus on what we have to do as a team to get into the next round. Conference semifinal, just take one game out of a time. So, but we're focused and we're ready for the challenge. So I'm just excited.
Chris?
Bryce, you played 1,000 more minutes this year than you had in any of your previous seasons in MLS. What did you gain from the experience? What have you grown in as a footballer that perhaps you didn't have before the season?
Probably I would say confidence, maturity, kind of just those things that every kind of young player needs to develop with minutes. You can only do so much when you're just training and then getting minutes here and there. So coming here and then having the experience and the coaching staff put trust in me to be able to play all these minutes and all these games definitely helped me as a player develop in the right way. So.
Hi, Bryce. Again, also congratulations. You're American, so playoff games, one-off games on the road. You guys won the last two on the road, which is important. Beat them 3-2. I think you had an assist, and Pozuelo had 2 goals in a 3-2 win against NYC at home. You and Pozuelo leading the list of assists. How do you approach this game? How do you get Higuain involved, obviously, in goal-scoring situations? Looking at this New York team, how can you guys be successful?
Yeah, it's not hard to get Gonzalo involved because he's one of those guys who always wants the ball, and you kind of just the way the game develops, the ball kind of just finds him. But just being able to put him in easier situations for him to just score a goal, it's probably why Pozuelo and I have so many assists, because we find situations to put Gonzalo in and he just puts it in the back of the net. So tomorrow's game, we just need to come up with creativity and just help the team no matter what, no matter how. So
2 assists, 1 nutmeg.
yeah.
I have 2. One is a follow-up on Gonzalo and then a second question. On Gonzalo, the fact that he's retiring and that he's really just had such a resurgence the second half of the season, how much does that motivate you guys? Is it kind of like a win for Gonzalo? Let's win him a trophy and send him off on a high note. Is that something that's on your minds, that he seems to be sort of a central focal point of this team? So is that something that you guys think about winning for him? And then my second question was, what specific challenges does NYC, present? What are some of the things that they do that you guys have to be really aware of to stay ahead of them?
Yeah, of course, your first question, winning for Gonzalo is definitely on everyone's mind. He's had an amazing career, so being able to help him and being part of that, to go out with a win and possibly lifting up that MLS Cup trophy would definitely be something special to us and for him as well. In trainings after the game, we all do that Gonzalo Higuain chant. So I feel like that tells everyone a lot. And then going to NYCFC and how they can present a bit of a challenge for us is they're a team that plays great football. So team that can switch the ball quickly, not afraid to play, can attack. So just being able to stay focused the whole 90 minutes of the game, or if it goes over, and then just take advantage of the chances that we get and just stay focused.
Chris, then Ian.
Bryce, I wanted to ask about playing with Pozuelo. Since you guys like to occupy similar positions, how do you mentally approach a game playing with him from a tactical point of view and from a maybe how your job changes point of view when you share the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's more of just whatever happens, happens. Whether it's both of us playing, whether it's one of us playing, whatever's the best decision for the team, that's just how it's going to be. So, but playing with them, I mean, anyone on the team can say it just gets easier. Give him the ball and he does his thing and he makes everyone else play better. So, but yeah, no matter what happens on tomorrow, the lineup, whatever the case may be, just excited for the opportunity. So yeah.
Ian.
Thanks, Rafa. Hey, Bryce, congratulations. This is so new for so many of you, yourself included, the first playoff game and all of that. With so many of you guys going through this experience for the first time, how do you go about it? Is there anything different from a normal game week? Do you talk to Jason maybe a little more, who's had this experience? How do you keep these emotions in check for what is sure to be a pretty intense game?
Yeah, I mean, fairly new team. So, and then first time making playoffs, especially with this team. But we're a team that's hungry, so we're excited for the opportunity, like I said before. But yeah, going back to that, going to kind of more of the more experienced players where Gonzalo has been in similar situations. Jason has been in similar situations, especially within the league. So everyone kind of brings their own little insight, and then we kind of just take it and run with it.
Michelle.
Because this will be the first opportunity that there may be extra, overtime and penalty kicks or whatever it may come to if it's not decided in 90 minutes. How much have you guys done extra training? Do you have to be extra fit because you're going to have to play maybe more minutes potentially? And as far as practicing PKs and stuff, how much over the last week have you guys been focusing on potential overtime situations?
Yeah, I mean, with playoffs, you kind of have to take everything into account. So PKs, overtime, every little thing matters. So yeah, this week has been different from most weeks just because we're all getting prepared. So yeah, I would say I don't want to talk too much on the subject, but yeah, we've been doing extra stuff.
Chris, and then Andrea.
Thomas joked about perhaps getting a nutmeg in the game. I wanted to ask in general about almost like your swagger and your intensity. How much do you sort of allow your personality to come through in the way that you play?
Yeah, I would say that's probably the biggest part of my game. Personality for me is whether or not I'm going to have a good game or a bad game. So that's probably just the player that I am, and that's maybe goes for other people, but for me, personality is probably the biggest thing for me.
Andrea. Andrea, can you hear us?
No idea what that's.
Andrea. I see you're on mute, but I can't hear you. Yeah. All right, any questions? Yeah. We'll go to Michelle and see. Andrea.
Guys, going back to talking about your confidence and your personality, is this something you've always had? Do you think being a smaller guy, you've had to have more bravado out there? I mean, where does it come from? And has it always been there? And this year, because you have been able to be such an integral part of the team and playing so many minutes, how much more confident are you when you're on the field now than you were in February?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's always been there. It's just now this year I've gotten the opportunity to show it more. In the past, like you said before, 1,000 more minutes than I did in the past season. So just being able to get that opportunity and then just have that kind of personality grow definitely helps me a lot. So yeah, personality, confidence. With any player, if you play more minutes and get more opportunities, then your confidence is gonna grow, and then in the end you play better. So that's just how it pretty much goes for everybody. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
The fact that you're not one of the biggest guys on the field, is that where that swagger. and
Yeah,
that
I
bravado
mean,
comes from?
you always play against, everyone's gonna be bigger. I mean, most of the people are gonna be bigger than me, so that's just something that I've had to kind of adapt to over the years. And so, my dad used to always tell me the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So that's just how you go about it.
Were you ever, one last thing, were you ever told that you're too small or when you were coming up through, youth soccer or anything, were there ever any teams or coaches or players who, maybe suggested that you were too small? and wouldn't make
Yeah,
it?
I mean, all the time. I used to hear like, oh, you're too small. Oh, you're not gonna make it. So those are kind of the people that you keep it in the back of your head and you just play for them, in order to prove them wrong. So that's kind of how it's been my whole career. So
That concludes today's press conference. Thank
Sweet.
you.